It was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life. A backyard full of family and friends, balloons floating lazily in the warm air, a table covered in pink and blue, cameras ready to capture the moment. I was finally starting to feel like a glowing mom-to-be, not just exhausted and bloated and trying to fake joy through swollen ankles. And then she opened her mouth. Rachel, my husband's best friend. You know the type. Too pretty to be humble, too familiar with my husband to be casual, too competitive to ever say something kind without twisting it on the way out. I'd smiled through her jabs for years, let her little comments slide, bit my tongue every time she joked about how she and my husband used to be so wild before he settled down. But today? Today was not hers, or so I thought. We had just cut into the cake, soft vanilla with a glowing pink center. It's a girl. The crowd erupted. Laughter, cheers. My mother cried. My husband kissed my cheek. It was beautiful. And then, right when it quieted, Rachel raised her glass and said, just loud enough to slice the moment in half, "Guess we know who's really got your attention now, huh?" People chuckled awkwardly. I turned to look at her, so she smiled, the same smile she always wore after planting a dagger. "Don't be so sensitive," she added. "It's just a joke." That's when I knew. She thought I wouldn't do anything, that I'd laugh it off again, that I'd let her make my moment about hers. So I walked over to the table, picked up a slice of cake, turned to face her, and said calmly, "You wanted attention?" Then I smashed it right into her face. Rachel had been in my husband's life long before I was. They met in college, drama class naturally, and for the first 6 months of our relationship, I couldn't go 5 minutes without hearing a funny story that somehow ended with her name. Oh, that reminds me of the time Rachel and I got stuck in Vegas for 36 hours. Rachel used to call me her therapist because we stayed up talking all night. Rachel says I'm the only guy who ever really understood her. Cute, right? At first, I told myself I was being paranoid, that she was just loud, that her habit of interrupting me, finishing my husband's sentences and side-hugging him just a second too long, wasn't on purpose. But over time, it became clear. Rachel didn't see me as a friend, or even as someone worth respecting. She saw me as competition. She made it clear in ways too small to fight back against. Subtle digs about my mom-style outfits, laughing a little too hard when I tripped at our engagement party, telling people at our wedding reception that she used to be my husband's emergency contact. And when I got pregnant, she ramped it up. "You're glowing, must be the sweat. You're so brave for posting those bump pics without filters. Your baby's lucky. It'll have one hot parent at least." Every time she said something, it came with that same smirk, that same half laugh. And when I brought it up to my husband, he'd sigh and say the one thing that made me want to scream, "That's just Rachel. She doesn't mean it." But here's the thing. Even if she didn't mean it, I was the one hearing it. I was the one being made small at every turn, in front of his family, in front of our friends, and now at our gender reveal party. So when she made that comment in front of everyone, mocking me, needling him, turning a moment of celebration into one more twisted joke, something inside me stood up. Something that had been sitting down politely for years. The backyard was buzzing. Guests were still clapping. Someone was filming on their phone. I was mid-hug with my mother when Rachel's voice cut through the air like a dull knife trying to be sharp. "A girl. Well, I guess that means he's officially wrapped around 2 fingers now." The way she said it, sugary sweet with that faux innocent tone. And it wasn't just a joke. It was a dig. A public smirking, "Look how close I am to your husband" punchline. The laughter around us died down. Fast. She sipped her wine and smiled at me like we were in on something together, like I was just supposed to laugh and move on, like always. I stepped closer and said, calm as I could, "What was that?" She blinked, still playing it cool. "It's a joke. Relax. You're getting all hormonal again." And there it was. Not just the insult, but the dismissal, the little shove under the rug where women are supposed to hide their anger, their boundaries, their dignity, and call it being gracious. But I wasn't feeling gracious anymore. I looked at the cake. Perfect slice, sitting on a little plate with blue and pink swirls around the edge, and without a word, I picked it up, walked right across the grass. The crowd shifted. A few people gasped. One person whispered, "No way." Rachel still had that smirk on her face, like she truly believed I wouldn't do it, that I couldn't, that I shouldn't. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Since you're so sweet today," and I smashed the cake right into her perfectly powdered face. It was a beautiful sound, not just the splack of frosting on cheek, but the shocked silence, the half giggle from my aunt, the wine glass clink as someone nearly dropped it. And then, laughter, not cruel, not chaotic, but relieved, the kind of laugh people let out when something that's been building for too long finally pops. Rachel froze, frosting dripping down her nose, blue and pink smudged in her eyelashes. I wiped my hands on a napkin, turned to the crowd and said, "Now, where were we? Oh, right, we're having a baby." And walked back to my husband, who just stood there, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. And then he laughed too. Rachel left 5 minutes after the cake hit. Didn't even try to play it off. No joke, no comeback. Just stomped to the bathroom, grabbed a towel, and stormed out with icing in her hair and pride dragging behind her like a ripped party streamer. And honestly, the party got better after that. People relaxed. My cousin came over and said, "I didn't know you had it in you." My mother-in-law gave me a look I hadn't seen before, one that said, "Finally." And my best friend, she just handed me a glass of sparkling cider and whispered, "You're a hero now. You know that, right?" Later that night, I posted a single photo. Just the cake, one slice missing, a pink center showing through. Caption, "She's already teaching me how to stand up for myself." No names, no drama. But I didn't need to say it. The group chat lit up anyway. Was that real? Did you actually cake her? I've been waiting for someone to do that since 2018. Rachel didn't post anything that night, which said more than a caption ever could. The next day, she uploaded a quote on her story. "You can be the sweetest peach in the world, and some people still throw it." Followed by another, "Real women don't tear other women down." No one responded. Over the next few weeks, she slowly faded out of our social events. No one said she was uninvited. She just stopped being included. Not because I made a scene, but because everyone finally saw what I'd been seeing all along. The subtle jabs, the entitlement, the performance disguised as friendship. And no one missed it, not even my husband. That night after the party, he pulled me into the kitchen while the dishes soaked. "I'm sorry I didn't believe you sooner," he said. "I think I didn't want to admit she's not who I thought she was." I looked at him. "Do you still think she meant well?" He shook his head. "No, and honestly, that cake was kinda hot." We laughed, and for the first time in years, I felt seen. It's funny how quiet things get after you finally stop being quiet. I didn't hear from Rachel directly after that night. No apology, no, "I was just joking," no, "let's clear the air," just silence. And honestly, it was the best gift she ever gave me, because it left space. Space for my husband and I to talk honestly about boundaries, space for his friends to rethink who they invited into their circles, and space for me to stop performing and start protecting myself. A few weeks later, a package showed up on our doorstep. Inside, a onesie. Pale pink, tiny, soft, and beautifully simple. Across the front in looping cursive letters, it said, "No one messes with mommy." No note, no name. Just a little inside joke from someone who was there that day and understood exactly what kind of daughter I was about to raise. Because it wasn't just about Rachel. It wasn't just about one comment or one cake. It was about every time I let someone's comfort matter more than my dignity. And that day I chose me. I chose my daughter. And I chose to make a memory she'd laugh about someday. The day her mom finally stopped being polite and got a little frosting under her nails. She tried to embarrass me at my own celebration. She thought I wouldn't do anything, that I'd laugh it off, smile through it, be quiet. But that day, I chose different. Because someday my daughter will ask me, "Mom, what did you do when people didn't respect you?" And I'll get to smile, look her in the eye, and say, "I served the cake.